We continue with this special edition of Sports for CLE from Mid-American Conference Football Media Days, Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. We're pleased to be joined by the head football coach of the Miami RedHawks, Chuck Martin. And Coach, MAC championship a season ago. You returned a number of guys too. What does that do for the program and for expectations this year?
Yeah, expectations are always the same. We're always trying to fight to get to, I say every year, trying to get to Detroit. It's hard to get to Detroit. The league's so even, it's so balanced. There's so many different teams that do such a good job, and then you're trying to get to Detroit, and when you get to Detroit, try to win it, because if you win it, it's a big deal, you know, and it lasts forever. And I would say, never remember the runner-ups; they remember the champions. And if you find a way to get champion, your name goes up on the wall forever. So it was a great year last year, and kids played their tail off. We had a huge bump in the road. We lost Gabbert, week 8, and everybody kind of thought the season was up in smoke. And our kids did an amazing job, won 4 more straight, and then went on to beat Toledo in the MAC title game with our backup quarterback, which was a pretty amazing run. So we're excited. Like you said, we got a good nucleus back, and we're looking forward to the season. Yeah,
13 starters, 7 on offense, 6 on defense, and you get Brett Gabbert back. What does that do? I mean, you have a quarterback that's played a lot.
Yeah, no, started as the first, we always say, first ever true freshman starter at quarterback in the history of Miami, Ohio football. And Ben Roethlisberger didn't even start as a true freshman. So Brett won a MAC championship in 19 as a true freshman. And then we got COVIDed out, and then we were 1 play away in 21. We missed a 2-point play that would have put us back in Detroit. And then 22 he got hurt, and 23 he got hurt, but we won it without him in 23. So since he's been there, we've been one of the top teams in the league, and record-wise we're the best team in the league during his time. And having him back, and his confidence, his toughness, his leadership, his intelligence, and his just ability to throw the ball and make plays in big situations. Maybe watched our Cincinnati game a year ago. We broke a long losing streak against Cincinnati, and it took a lot of people, but his effort in that game was, everybody was talking about, like, he kind of willed us to the finish line. So it's pretty amazing.
This year's team, every team's a little different. What do you sense from them?
Yeah, still trying to figure out. Just this portal thing throws everything in for a loop. You really don't know who your team's going to be until the second portal window closes, which is kind of dumb. But you don't. So it's kind of like you get through the May portal, and then it's like now so you used to start building your team in January, but you start to build your team in January, then you might have defections or additions, because it comes both ways. We added guys in the spring, after spring ball. So it's not, you usually know more at this time of year. You're still developing. It's kind of like summertime and fall camp. It's a crash course on, hey. But we got great kids. We got Miami kids. We always talk about love and honor at Miami. We have kids that represent the school on and off the field. We have 13 starters back. We lost some really good players to the portal. We lost some really good players to graduation. But we also have a lot of quality backups that have played. There's a lot of non-stars that played a lot of football. So there's guys that are going to step into starting roles, but they'll be familiar to a lot of, like, oh, he made a huge play in the MAC championship game last year, and but he wasn't a starter. So we have a ton of depth. It's always been one of our strong suits, is the depth of our football team, and we're excited. We're excited about the group we have.
So when you look at your offense, I mentioned it's 7 starters back, including a quarterback who's played a lot of football. Yeah. What can that offense be?
Yeah, we'd like to be explosive. We'd like to control the football game, either by scoring a bunch of points or controlling the ball. We had a game we started off last year. We went on a 13-minute drive and scored a touchdown. That's a pretty good way to start off a game. The other team got the ball with 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. So we got 4 stars back up front, which is huge. We are really experienced up front. We've got 3 wideouts that have played a bunch. We got 4 tailbacks that have played a bunch. So we have a lot of experience and a lot of depth. So we'd like to be a team that can score and beat you with scoring 35 points a game, 40 points a game. And we were that team until Brett went down. We had to play a little more close to best after Brett went down, but we'd like to get back to being the team we were the first 7.5 games a year ago.
A lot of guys back on defense as well. What does that do for you, and what do you expect on that side of the ball?
Yeah, with Salopek and Ty Wise and Brian Ugu and Corey Suttle and Kobe Hilton and Rayon Strader, all guys that are proven high-end MAC players. And then we have a lot of reserves that will now become starters but have played a lot. So Coach Breeken is, we had historically, people don't even realize how good we are on defense. We gave 82 points in conference play last year. I think there was a Western Michigan, I looked it up, I think there's a Western Michigan team like early 2000s that gave up like 79 points. Like it was like the lowest point total in the history of the MAC in the last 35 years, which is, so they were dominant all the way through the MAC championship game. And then our special teams, we took a big blow. We lost, we lost the Groza award-winning kicker to Alabama. got recruited off our team by Alabama, so it's probably a pretty good place to go, I guess, right? Alabama, usually people like Alabama a lot. So, but we have a lot of returners at specialists and returners, and so special teams will be a big part of our year too.
What's the message? Kind of every team kind of rallies around something. What are you rallying around? You're not going to tell me, huh?
We don't have one. Again, I always say people put stuff on the wall. It's great when you're winning. When you're losing, you never talk about it. You know what I mean? I always talk.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it's just it's a daily grind, and we're going to try to outwork people. We're going to try. We always say smart, tough, and together is kind of our message. Like, we're going to play as smart as we can, and we got idiot college kids, so we don't always play smart. You know, it's part of the deal. Like, if you have if you have a teenager in your own house, can you always get that person to do what you want them to do? No, I got 110 teenagers. Like, I'm the biggest idiot in the world. That's my life. Like, trying to get 110 idiot teenagers to do shit. You know, so. And then we always say tough. We're going to play as tough as we can. Sometimes we're pretty tough. Other times we're kind of soft. But we try to be tough, you know. But we're going to do it together. And that we always feel like our biggest strength is our kids play for each other. They care about each other. We're a team. And I say, 2024, the hardest thing to do in college football is be a team. It's not to be talented or design a good play or have a good defensive coordinator. It's to actually play together and care about one another, because everyone's coming and going. Like, everybody's got 1 foot in or 1 foot out. So how do you become a team when you're thinking about your next move or your next stop? You know, so we're trying to stay in it. I would say we're kind of the last of the dinosaurs. We're trying to still be a team. And fortunately, Miami University is a place where kids love to go to school. They love to get the degree from there, and what that degree can bring them down the road. We always talk about money. They made $100,000 a portal. I said, well, the average Miami alum makes $4.5 to $5 million. Would you rather have $100,000 or $4.5 million? And Mr. Steinbreck was just talking about that and the value of education. You know, and well, there's a huge value if you come to Miami and getting a degree. So that's part of how we've kept things kind of going in the right direction.
Along those lines, what is having Matt Salopek back on your defense side?
So I'm thinking, I was just saying this earlier in the EA Sports thing, so there's either going to be no rules a year from now, or we're going to have whatever, and we're getting close. It's just complete chaos, right? Just do what you want. Like our compliance guy talks, I'm like, shut up. There's no compliance anymore. What are you talking about? Like, are you kidding me? We have rules. Because if I can get a judge to overturn it, then I can just do what I want, right? Now I'll get some local judge. Like, we all got a local judge in our pocket, right? Like, that ain't hard to find a local judge that'll change the whole world, the whole landscape of college football to try to get some below average reserve on Western Michigan or West Virginia eligible so they can go 9-20. Like, this is the world we live in. So my thought is Salopek and Gabbert, they're just going to play at Miami forever. I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay. They're going to stay. It's going to be like old school. We're going to start fraternity together. You know, like me and those. They'll be 35. I'll be 80, and we'll live in this fraternity house. And it'll be because there'll be no rule. You just keep playing college football forever, right? That's what they're trying to do. So I'm all for it.
I'm with you. I will help you.
You can live in a fraternity. I saw the movie Old School. It seemed like a good time, right?
All right. Chuck Martin, I appreciate the time. Thanks very much, and best of luck this year.
Thank you.
We're going to step aside. We will take a quick time out. We'll hear from Matt Salopek and Brett Gabbert coming up. Special edition of Sports
Tough act to follow.
From the Mid-American Conference Football Media Days. Stay with us.
Miami is where today's students will decide what the next 200 years looks like. Today, we're first in Ohio and 12th nationally for a 4-year graduation rate. Plus, 99% of our grads are employed or furthering their education within 6 months of graduation. Simply put, Miami students graduate and make more money sooner.
We continue with this special edition of Sports for CLE from MAC Media Days. Time to talk to a couple of the RedHawk players, the aforementioned Brett Gabbert, Matt Salopek, guys back for another season. What went into the decision to come back and play for another year at Miami?
Mine was probably a little bit different than Matt's. After my injuries, there was a real possibility, football might not be able to play again than it was, and I was like, I don't know if I want to. So ultimately I made the decision, whether this is my last year or not, I wanted to give myself one more chance to play the game I love, and it's pretty much how it went down.
Matt, what about you?
Yeah, like Brett said, a little bit different answers, but Just been here. I love the people I come into the building with every day, my teammates, my coaches, and I really believe that what Chuck Martin's trying to build here, and we've won a couple MAC championships, and I truly believe that we can go win another one and try and get into that playoff spot.
This season, you got a lot of guys coming back, a lot of experience. I think it's 7 on offense, 6 on defense. So offensively, what can this offense be?
Yeah, with the portal nowadays, you lose guys, you bring guys in. You got young guys up and coming, but like you said, we have 7. I think you said 7.
7 on offense, yeah.
Right, and then I think we have 4 returning starters on the O-line, which is very huge. So with a lot of veterans, it makes my job a little bit easier, and we got a lot of guys who have played a ton of snaps and a lot of really good football players. Whether it's O-linemen, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, we have a lot of great players, great dudes in the locker room. So I think we should have another successful year on the offensive side of the ball.
You mentioned that. So you're back, and Coach has kind of delineated the success you've had at Miami, and you got the O-line back. Is that the makings of a pretty good offense right there?
Yeah, you would think so, right? But time will tell. You still got to play the game, so we'll see.
Defensively, you also have it's 6 starters back on defense, including you had a great season a year ago. 144 total tackles, 75 solos, 3 sacks, an interception, first team All-MAC. What can this defense be?
I think we can be even better than last year. We got a bunch of smart dudes on our side of the ball. A lot of guys that love to fly around with a high motor, and just a really good group that buys in and understands what kind of defense that we're trying to play. It's not a flashy defense, but we're going to get after you. We're going to stop the run, make you throw the ball, make you a one-dimensional offense. And we got to fill some spots on the back end and in the interior D line, but when you have a really good group that buys in on, creating turnovers, creating disruption, making quarterbacks feel pressure, and when you have a good front 7 that's as smart as we are, we can be really good.
Coach mentioned defensively, historical in how few points you allowed. Is that, how do you follow that up? Does that motivate you to try to replicate it, do even better?
Yeah, we want to be the best in the country, no doubt. And I think, first of all, we have a great defensive staff that comes in each week with a great plan that puts us in positions to make the best plays. And when you have a really smart coaching staff combined with, like I said, a bunch of players that buy in and know how good we can be, I think we can be the best defense in the country with how good we are at stopping the run and making teams one-dimensional. The sky's the limit for our defense.
Your guys' confidence level. You don't come back for another year if you don't think something special can go on, I would assume. So how confident are you, and what do you want to see from the team and from yourselves this year?
Yeah, I'm always a confident individual. I believe in the guys in the locker room, and I believe in the staff. So yeah, like you said, or as Matt said, the sky's the limit for our team, and you always want to go to a bowl game. You always want to win a bowl game. You always want to go to the MAC championship. You always want to win it. So those are some goals of ours that we have, and I think it's achievable.
Yeah, same thing. Detroit's our goal. Like every season, we want to be up in Detroit. We want to be playing for a MAC championship. We want to win a MAC championship. And even this year, like I said, going to the playoff. We have a chance to, get in there and show off for the group of 5s. So I think it can be really special for us, especially having him back. We can be really good on both sides of the ball and special teams. So when you got a lot of guys that, like I said, buy in and believe in what this team can do, we can be really special.
Matt Salopek, Brett Gabbert, appreciate the time and the insight. Best of luck to the RedHawks this year. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.